Am I the asshole for refusing to go to my dad's unless I'm fed properly? I'm 17, female, and my parents are separated. My dad lives in another country, so I don't see him much except for holidays. He lives in Germany with my stepmom and 9-year-old little sister. I don't like my stepmom at all, mainly because of her parenting style. She's a complete helicopter parent. I don't think my sister has ever actually been out of an adult sight in her life. She's never just played outside with her friends or anything. And the most annoying for me is that she has never eaten a hot meal. Like it's cold being served to her, and the reasoning is it might burn her mouth. She's also never stayed up past 7 p.m. Things that apply to my sister also apply to me too. When I'm at my dad's, I'm usually there for 2+ weeks at a time, and in that entire time I don't eat anything hot, and I'm pretty much confined to my room, which has a bed, and that's it. After 7. I can live with having to stay in my room, but not with being fed cold food. I have ARFID and an already limited diet. I can barely stomach food warm, let alone cold. Yesterday my dad rang me about booking flights for the summer, and I said no. He tried to guilt me into going, and I said I'm not going unless I'm treated like I should be. I told him I will not be going unless everything I eat is hot, and that I don't care if it means eating before my sister, and that I won't be subjected to her stupid rules anymore. My dad contacted my mom, and my mom said I was an asshole to act so spoiled. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. While cold pizza is food of the gods, every meal for 2 weeks is torture. Try to work it out so you can spend time with your father, even if you have to warm everything yourself. Not the asshole. Are you expected to go to bed at 7 p.m. at age 17? You need to explain to your dad that this is not normal. Also say you'd like to prep your own food to fit into your dietary requirements. Get your mom to teach you before you go if you don't know how. Explain what you've said here to your mom and get her to back you up when she next speaks with your dad. Good luck. Not the asshole. Have you tried explaining the full situation to your mom? Regardless, your dad is refusing to compromise, and his rules will mean that it is not a viable place for you to stay. There are plenty of ways to manage this, like letting you cook your own meals as you are 17, but if he is not willing to compromise, then you are not willing to put yourself in a miserable position. Not the asshole. At first, I thought the reasoning behind the cold food was going to be health-related, not that a 9-year-old may burn her mouth. WTF. That's definitely a new one. It's also mind-blowing that your mom took your dad's side. Luckily, you will be 18 soon and able to get away from all this nonsense. Info. Do stepmother and father eat cold food too? I am trying to measure depths of insanity here. Expressionless. If they are also eating cold food, can you get takeout food? If not, eat their hold hot food? They can explain the child that you became sick so you have to eat special food? Or eat in your room so little one does not become jealous? Obviously, dad and stepmother will have to pay all those takeout bills. By the way, they need to arm you with a high-end console and flock of games if they demand you stay in bed after 7. You are not spoiled at all. You cannot treat a 9-year-old and 17-year-old the same way, even if one is an insane helicopter parent. Not the asshole. I'd be fuming in that situation. Maybe try explain to your mom what it's like. Possibly your dad hasn't told the whole story. Also, I'm so sorry for your little sister. That'll be even harder in her teens. Not the asshole. Your stepmom is an abusive control freak. Being safe has nothing to do with it. She gets off on making people she has power over miserable, and your dad enables her. Her rules are abusive as hell for a 9-year-old as well. The 9-year-old will never be a functional adult. She's missed too many crucial development milestones. Watch that you don't get shoved in the caretaker role for her in 10 years. I would never go back. Not the asshole. My stepmother forced me to give up my entire room because she moved in with her 3 kids. I slept on the cold couch in a cold room while they all got fluffy beds and proper blankets. Personally, I don't like step-parents at all. I don't even like my biological dad. But anyway, the stepmom didn't raise you. She has no say over you, even if she counts as a parental guardian for those 2+ weeks. And what the fuck, cold food? Most cold food wouldn't be fresh anyway unless it's the recipe to be cold. Not the asshole. Though at 17 and with dietary, gastrointestinal issues, you could be making your own meals if you don't like what's cooking. Is that an option for you to bring up? Also at 17 you shouldn't have a 7 p.m. bedtime as long as you are being conscientious of your sisters. Not the asshole. I wouldn't even go. Explain to your mother that it's not spoiled of you to want hot food and to be outside of your jail cell after 7. Awful. Info. Have you discussed this with your father before? Not the asshole. At 17 you are old enough to make these decisions, and your dietary issues are not personal quirks but medical necessity, which anyone you are staying with should respond to hospitably. It's Germany. You can get drunk if you want. I cannot believe the protection thing. My 10yo then was allowed to ride the tram and pretty much completely free range when we lived there. My kids hated coming home to the US. Not the asshole, and your stepmom is shorting you some of the best experiences into the incredible food. Although please have a fitness stellar for me. It's the one cold food I miss. Not the asshole. That treatment is neglectful. Don't go. Your stepmom is light years past a helicopter parent. She needs therapy. Seriously. She is hindering your little sister's development. Is this hot food that's been left to go cold at our all meals, salads, sandwiches, etc.? If stepma is worried about the child burning her mouth, why doesn't stepma check to make sure the food isn't too hot before serving it? Is your sister allowed hot water? Not the asshole. Call CPS. Your younger sister is being abused, even if your dad and stepmom don't necessarily mean to abuse her. Not the asshole. Seriously, both your parents think you are spoiled because you want hot meals? Not the asshole. As a fellow sufferer of ARFID, I completely understand how hard it can be having your meals messed with, especially when it can be challenging enough to eat them in the first place. You're almost an adult, you should be treated as such by your stepmother. You're definitely not acting spoiled for wanting something basic as hot food. Your dad should have stepped up and been more understanding of your disorder. This is incredibly worrying, controlling behavior on your stepmother, father's behalf, and I worry for your stepsister. If you can, refuse to go till they can respect your needs and treat you like an adult. Not the asshole. Try talking and explaining the full situation to your parents, but if they don't take it into consideration, then don't go, since you won't be taken proper care of. You can always try to compromise with them, but if they aren't willing to, then don't go. For me, I have a weak stomach, so I know that if someone fed me food that would irritate my stomach for 2 weeks, then I'd rather stay somewhere with someone that doesn't do that. Good luck with your situation. Not the asshole. Your dad is beyond salvation. But what the fuck is wrong with your mother? How are you entitled? Why would she be on your dad's side? Had you explained to her what was going on when you went there to visit? Your stepmom is nuts. Your dad sounds like a doormat if he allows her to treat not only you, but especially your sister like that. At the end you only go there a couple of weeks, but she is with them all the time, and your mom, well, as I said, I don't know what's wrong with your mom. Stay your ground and don't go, and I would keep an eye on your sister. Honestly, if they keep it like that, she will have a lot of problems dealing with the real world. It sounds borderline abuse to me. Not the asshole. Those are the rules for a 1-year-old. Not a 17-year-old. How is it spoiled to want to eat a hot meal instead of a cold one? Not the asshole. What's AFRID? Sorry if this seems really obvious, I was never good with medical terms. Wait, your sister had never had warm food? Like, ever? Not the asshole. Having a food sensitivity does not mean that you're an asshole for calling them out when they're unwilling to make any lifestyle changes to make sure you will be comfortable and okay being in their home. I've also taken tons of food and nutrition courses during school. Food being left out on the counter in the danger zone is spooky. Yes, the normal rule is it being out for 4+ hours at that point is dangerous, but in your situation I'd assume it's a smaller time frame. But warming meals kills bacteria, even if it's only been an hour. Botulism is extremely terrifying and rarely survivable, from what I was taught. I don't blame you for not risking it. Not the asshole. Are you getting treatment for the AFRID? If not, then you need to pursue that, bearing issues with COVID. It can help you and open up your life more. I have a relative that went through treatment, but he had underlying issues which literally caused pain if he ate them. So it took a couple of years, but the treatment helped immensely and he can now eat a great variety of foods without the mental block. Assuming those foods don't contain the ingredient his body rejected. German here. I don't know where your father lives, but get a few euros and buy yourself Döner, currywurst or bratwurst, or go into a bar and eat there. What is ARFID? Not the asshole. You are not being unreasonable at all. You stepmom needs therapy. I would never tell my daughter she was an asshole for not wanting to go somewhere at 17. She just wants those 2 weeks off rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. Beyond the rules, you are basically an adult in the making. Not the asshole at your age. The rules for her shouldn't apply to you, and asking for hot food isn't being spoiled at all. That kid is going to get away from her as soon as she possibly can if she keeps treating her like that. Not the asshole. Can they make you go, or are you able to stand your ground? NTA your father is an idiot and a bad father. Even if he agreed to actually do his job and take care of you, I'd ask that he takes his parenting time where you live because he has been failing you for years. Not the asshole. How do your parents not know your limited diet prob, ARFID? And they expect a 17 years old to sleep at 7 like WTF. Not the asshole. Your stepmom is either crazy or does not like you, and your dad is awful to let you put up with it. And you are in a foreign country to boot. You have no obligation to go. Not the asshole. Maybe your dad and stepmom need to watch Finding Nemo? Lol. Not the asshole. Don't go. That sounds like torture. Not the asshole. Tell your dad that you can come, but because of the no cooking rule and the 7 p.m. curfew rule, you can't possibly see how you can stay there as a 17-year-old. But if he wants to get you a hotel for your stay, this would solve all the issues. After all, he wants you to come visit him and his family. Where you stay shouldn't be an issue. Not the asshole. I am a heathen who loves cold pizza and has eaten cold lasagna, but this is insane to me. I did eat some cold things for dinner at 17, but not every single meal. I don't know much about ARFID, but I also had a 10 p.m. bedtime at 17. Not the asshole. Stand your ground. If your mother wants a break from you, she can leave home for a couple of weeks. Your father could even visit you then at your home. If your mother is worried she'll get into trouble for breaking the custody agreement if you don't visit your father, let him sue. No judge would fault you for refusing to go in these circumstances. Not the asshole. In Germany, you can inform the Jugendamt, German equivalent of CPS, of this abuse. No hot meal, for example. Please do so. Not the asshole. But is this the first time you've told your dad? Why is he tolerating this? Do him and stepmother eat cold food too? Not the asshole. I would lose my mind too in that situation. Tell him to come to you. I wouldn't go until she agreed. His wife is obviously the boss of the household. What he agrees to might not change anything unless she agrees also, no matter what he says. Like it's cold being served to her, and the reasoning is it might burn her mouth. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Spoiled for asking, demanding hot, warm food. Ridiculous. Not the asshole. You are an adult, so should be treated like one. Go to your dad's, buy groceries and make your own food. So OP's sister has spent 9 years only eating cold food? Boy, is she in for a treat the very first normally hot meal she eats after her helicopter parent fails to launch. Also, if you don't realize that food can come in at temps greater than cold, the possibility of eating anything outside of parental control that will burn your mouth surely increases? But really, isn't burning your mouth something that we never really, truly, actually learn not to do? I'm still doing it in my mid-50s, especially when I get hot food delivered or am really hungry, or the old blow on it hasn't helped. Not the asshole. My advice is to send an email to your mom, dad and stepmom. If you have another relative that could help with your dad, maybe reach out to them separately. Also, if you have a therapist for your AFRID, maybe CC them. I know personally, especially at your age, I had a difficult time expressing my needs verbally and found writing it down helped me. The email helps you because no one can claim you are taking a tone or getting hysterical. I would lay out your problems with all the rules, but I would focus on the food since it is the issue most harmful to you. No, you're not the asshole. Your father is. Your 9-year-old sister hasn't ever played outside? Fuck, that's messed up. Your meals aren't hot? Also very messed up. Your sister never stayed up past 7 p.m.? None of that is fair at all. You're actually being smart. You don't have to go there if your dad won't even feed you properly. Yeah, not the asshole here. You're almost 18 and by now you should have a choice in how you live your life. And you're not even there all the time. You shouldn't be expected in the first place to live the same way your stepsisters do. If neither of your parents can agree with you, go stay with another family member who gets it. Not the asshole. Your ARFID aside, the food left to go cold and general infantilization is enough to say no to being subjected to the batshittery of your stepmother.